Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. I believe it is Thursday. It's been a busy week, so I'm trying to keep track of everything. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day. I wanted to hop in here a little bit earlier before my guest came in. And so as you can see, I'm back in my car on the road. Matter of fact, my guest coming in is also a mom, a busy mom that's most likely in her car too, as we take this opportunity to share about her story. And I wanted to just kind of introduce the subject a little bit about those who have struggled, women specifically, that have struggled with PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And it's still extremely common. And unfortunately, it's also showing up in teenage girls, as young as they are. And a lot of it, believe it or not, has to do with our digestive health and the types of foods that we consume daily. Even, medications we've had throughout the years and things like that. And it just, unfortunately, one of those chronic conditions that mostly managed through medications, and they tend to not be effective. A lot of it's managed through birth control pills, and it's actually detrimental to the reproductive system, especially for women. If you're starting the young teens too, a lot of teens are found or given these birth controls to help to manage the pain and their cycles. So anyhow, the mom that's going to be joining us, her name is, oh my gosh, it just went blank all of a sudden, Linda. And she'll be in pretty soon as she gets ready to join in the studio. But I'm not able to see your comments right now because I'm coming live with StreamYard. But I will go back as soon as the interview is done. I will go back and answer your questions for those of you who have any questions and respond to your comments. So I love receiving comments from you guys. It's a lot of fun to get your perspective and hear from you. Kind of reminds me a little bit of those in the days when pen pals used to be big. I was an 80s kid, so pen pal writing little letters back and forth. So that was always fun. So it's kind of similar to leaving comments underneath. It's just kind of to hear back on a personal level from somebody. So that's really nice. Anyway, so hopefully this interests you. This might actually answer many of your questions. So let me bring her in now. Hi, Linda. Do you see me? Let me see. Just. Oh, there you are. You see me?
Oh, weird. I can see myself.
Oh, perfect. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. As you can see, we're both in our cars.
Yes. Always busy days. Yep.
We're one of those on-the-go moms. I actually had just gotten off a shift. I had to do mandatory volunteer for my kids' school. So I'm just trying to get this time to be able to have a chance to sit with you. I wanted to hear your story, and along with everyone else, to what you went through, and basically what were you given as management to help you, and then what really changed it for you? What was the actual solution thereafter? So go ahead, Linda. You have the floor.
Oh, thank you. Well, so when I started this journey was, it's been a year ago, and I guess it was March or April of last year, um, and that's when I really started learning about regenerative health, and I found Purium, the supplement company that we use, and I had been suffering for basically my whole life. I'll be 40 actually tomorrow. And so for 17, about 17 years, since I was 17 years old, I had been struggling with ovarian cysts, kidney stones, every month, I would say, just about for all of those years. And, it was always a matter of going to different doctors and being told, we don't really know what's causing this. You can try this medicine, try that medicine, here, take this for pain, here, take this, to make sure that you're able to urinate through these kidney stones. And if we can't get you past that, then you might have to have a surgical procedure to remove them.
Right.
The ovarian cysts and PCOS was like, you know, I didn't get a lot of good information or help on that. It was more like, hey, let's try birth control and see if that helps. And, I was at a point in my life where, off and on throughout the years, I have 4 children that I've given birth to. And in between those kids, I had periods of infertility, pregnancy loss. Um, my youngest baby is 2, and just right before him, we had a pregnancy loss. And so it was just, the uncertainty and just not wanting to take all the medication, not knowing what was really wrong, and just wanting to get to the root cause of things. And then knowing that during the times that I didn't know better and I was taking a bunch of medicine, I was having all kinds of side effects. And so I came across regenerative health and Imperium with a friend of mine, actually watching her story. She was healing herself from chronic pain. And, sometimes they call that fibromyalgia or autoimmune disorder or whatever. Just
Right.
basically another way of saying we don't know what's wrong. So watching her heal her own body, and that's how I kind of started this. And so it took, gosh, I was feeling better in a couple of days, honestly, after starting my supplements and making some changes to my diet. And the more strict I got on it, and after the 30 days, I did an ultimate lifestyle transformation with Purium, which is a 30-day program. And I've lost over 30 pounds now. Just within that first uh, month to 2 months, I haven't had any more ovarian cysts or kidney stones at all. So, yeah, and I'm not trying. My husband and I are at a point where we don't want any more kids. Together we have 7, and so after our last baby, we can't get pregnant anymore. But I don't, obviously I can't speak to that piece of it, but I can definitely say that my hormones are in much better balance. I don't have that extremely heavy menstrual bleeding and pain, and erratic cycles. And I'm
Awesome.
not, yeah, I'm not going to urgent care every few weeks, just trying to make sure that I'm not dying, because that's how it feels, especially when you have both
What,
going on at the same time.
when was the last time would you say you were in urgent care?
It was literally a few weeks before I started this program. So
Wow. That's
yeah, I was
amazing.
actually at work, because I am a registered nurse, and I'm a hospice nurse by trade, and I'm a hospice nurse educator right now, on
Right.
top of my regenerative wellness practice. But I remember having to leave work in the middle of the day, seeing patients, and having to call my boss and say, hey, I'm at urgent care. I don't know what's wrong, but I'm in so much pain. I just can't even stand it. I can't handle it. And, it's hard because, I didn't want to take pain medicine. I didn't want any of those things. I just wanted them to tell me what was wrong with me
Right.
so that I could fix it. And then they think you're crazy when you refuse the meds, because it's like, well, do you want to be in the pain or
Yeah.
not? And it's like, I don't want to be in pain, but I have to be able to function. I have children, I have a job, I have a husband, I have, you know family, I have activities and things that I need to do for myself and my life. And so
Right.
being on narcotics all the time is not the answer for me. um so yeah,
It's
it
just
was a difficult
unfortunate
journey.
that, yeah, it really is unfortunate that a lot of the doctors are just trained to just do the band-aid approach of just managing the pain and go on with their life. But in reality, the pain just progresses and the drugs don't do anything. Now we're seeing teenage girls being prescribed birth control pill as young as they are to handle the same pain that you've gone through. I personally went through as well, and it's just astonishing that that's their solution.
Yeah,
When nowadays,
yeah,
it's difficult.
it is. And I don't necessarily fault any one physician or anything like that, because I do understand that our system is based off of, it is a medicine system. It's a medical model. And
Yeah.
so they don't learn any of the things that I've learned in regenerative practice, but we don't learn that in allopathic medicine. Even as a master's prepared registered nurse, I got 1 semester of nutrition, and
Wow.
um, and it was all based around the standard American diet, which is dairy, and they have this big chunk of our diet that's supposed to be milk and cheese and all this stuff, and those things are not good for our bodies. We're not meant to eat those things. Even meat, that's a pretty big chunk of our so-called food pyramid. And so I mean, I can't fault them necessarily for not knowing what they don't know, but at the same time, it's very frustrating to just continually be told that there's no answer, um, that we don't focus on prevention, we don't focus on root cause healing. It is a money making system, you know, um,
Right.
unfortunately. So, and I do think that there's a balance, and I do think there's a place for Western medicine. I mean, there are things that we couldn't do without, trauma surgeries, and there's always going to be people that don't follow the the appropriate diet or lifestyle, and those people are going to need intervention in Western medicine at some point. And and not everybody, I know it's sad, but not everybody has access to our holistic
That's,
um,
yeah.
option. And that's something that I also find is just, it's very unfortunate. Even people I have great health insurance, but I don't have any options on my health insurance to be able to see a holistic practitioner. um, Not for my body, not for my teeth, not for anything. I mean, uh, it's all allopathic medicine providers. If I want to be seen and have my insurance pay for it, you know, so that makes it difficult. But
Believe it or not, it's interesting because back in the day, I want to say, oh gosh, early 1900s or so, that, the common practice for basically, resolving a chronic condition and even pain is using herbs. It used to be a thing.
yeah,
Medical schools used to be taught that. They would have a class, about all the different types of herbs and even some of the nutrition that were effective in addressing the issues, the different health issues. And then until it got changed, where let's just add drugs, and they literally eliminated all of the natural remedies out of the medical textbooks, so that when I was in graduate school for mental health, I took all the science classes, and I didn't have any nutritional classes. And that's one of the big things that affects mental health, is the
oh
poor
yeah,
nutrition and digestive health, all of that. So it's amazing that, you've only got 1 semester of nutrition. That's not even sufficient. And what are you supposed to do with that 1 semester? How
yeah.
do you apply that?
It
So
gives you just enough information to be dangerous. Honestly, is kind of how I feel. And you know, and it's true. Before the Rockefellers came into the picture, everything was based on medicinal herbs. Nutrition was medicine. We've known all these things forever and ever, but when pharmaceuticals and big pharma took over, all that stuff went out the window. And now anyone that tries to speak against that, or it's quackery, and it's not true, it's not viable. But I mean, we see that every day in our real life practices, that it is true. And a lot of people don't realize, like, 80% of your hormones are made in your gut. So what are we
yeah.
doing to our young women's bodies when we're putting all this birth control and stuff into them, um, and they're not able to naturally regulate their own hormones, which can easily be done with diet. I mean, it's just crazy to me. But I actually went through that battle with my own daughter. She was
Right.
just insistent on being on birth control, because lots of girls her age were. She didn't even have like the true need for it as far as birth control goes at that time. And I mean, I kept her from getting on it as long as I could, but as an adult, I couldn't say no anymore. Um, but she had so many mental health problems after getting on it, and just it made her have really bad depression and anxiety. I know the few times I had taken it in my younger years, I felt like I was crazy all the time. Just, you know, worse than, I mean, we all have our moments of, emotional stuff with our cycles and things, but it was nothing compared to, when I was on birth control. So getting her off of that has really been life changing for her too, and gotten her off of all like depression medication and things like that, just by changing her diet. Um, I have a son who's my 2 year old. He'll be 3 in November. Um, at 2 months old, he developed severe eczema from head to toe, and same thing. I mean, we went to every doctor, we did every test, we did all the allergy sensitivity, food sensitivity testing. They had me on every single steroid you can think of for him. Uh, and they kept telling me, he's not allergic to anything. He's not sensitive to anything. And this was before I, obviously before I started learning all of this. And so now that we've changed our diet, and I actually have all of my kids do the Purium Kids Shake. They love it. They do it twice a day.
Right.
I've healed his gut, and his eczema is like 90% better. Like, we still have a little work to do with his kidney filtration and stuff, but like, we don't have to have him in scratch sleeves 24/7. He can wear shorts and no shoes for the first time in his life. So I mean, it was cute. He always had
Yeah.
a long sleeve footy pajamas on, but it's just so amazing to see the difference in him. And it was heartbreaking watching him go through just scratching himself till he would bleed, and all the blistering and all those things. And now he's a normal little baby. So it's awesome.
That's like, it warms my heart to hear that, especially with children and teens. I mean, life should be idyllic for them. It should be fun. They should be able to do, everyday normal childhood memories. And the fact that he's able to go without shoes, you know, it's just
Yeah.
that's amazing. It's just amazing to see that, and I'm sure that boosted his not immune system, but well, yeah, that too. But
Yeah.
his confidence now. Oh,
Yeah, honestly, I have noticed too that his talking and everything got better. Like, as we made these changes, it just, because I mean, it really is all connected. And I mean, I never knew. I mean, that's another thing I never learned in nursing school, that like your babies are born with the mother's gut microbiome. And I mean, I've been eating the SAD diet for how old was I when he was born? 37. So, he got all of the bad stuff that I had been eating all these years. And, um,
right.
you know, I mean, and people are quick to always say, oh, it's genetic. No, we've got this many people in
Yeah,
our family that have eczema and this and that. Well,
that's
yeah, genetics load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. So, and I feel like we're all kind of like living proof of that, because I mean, look at, you can change things in your body just by putting the right stuff in and leaving the toxicity out. So,
right,
yeah.
exactly. But you're right, because that is so true. That is actually the common response to pretty much anything. It's genetic. It runs in the family. But what they're not telling you is that certain foods can actually turn on those genes, and then
Yes.
other foods can actually turn off those genes, so it's no longer the problem. And especially for children, and teens, it's interesting because they don't have a whole lot of medications to treat their ailments. But oh well, let's just see what happens. Let's just watch it. When they should be using that window to recommend nutrition in the meantime. Let's
Yeah.
attack it with this kind of nutrition. Let's attack it with this kind of you know um, herb or whatnot, and so that it targets that problem immediately rather than just waiting it out to see if it gets better or it gets worse. And because they're little, they don't want to give them powerful drugs unless maybe it's, God forbid, cancer. Okay, let's give them a powerful drug instead of maybe doing the opposite. So,
Right.
just But I'm just happy to hear that you're getting your answers now, because it should be an answer. That should be a common um, approach for these doctors. But unfortunately, not a lot of them are open to integrating that knowledge with medicine. And it would be so effective if they did, so helpful.
Yes, definitely. We would definitely have a better world, that's for sure. A lot less suffering and a lot less. I mean, the rates of childhood disease right now are just mind blowing. So I am just humbled and blessed and honored to work with all the people that I do that really believe in our mission and what we're doing in regenerative practice.
Right.
Being able to partner with a company like Purium that really loves and cares about people and cares about our earth and cares about, I mean, just humankind. It's great. So
And they're
um,
so transparent with their ingredients. They show everything that's being put in their products. They're showing, we're not having to do a guessing game. How do we know if we have an allergy or not? And, it's
yeah,
I appreciate the transparency for sure.
yeah, exactly, and not having to worry. Like I know, in all the research I've done, there's nothing else out there like it. No
Right.
additives, no fillers, no artificial colors, like none of the things that we have to worry about. No synthetic vitamins, like everything is 100% whole food, organic. I mean, beyond organic, it's regeneratively grown, um, vine ripened. That's one of the, I mean, you can't even buy like produce in the store that's vine ripened. It's all picked like 3 weeks too early. And so
Exactly.
it's,
Exactly.
it's awesome.
I appreciate this so much, because it's going to open up a lot of, ears and eyes, especially there's so many moms going through PCOS, so many moms having their own children going through eczema, and chronic conditions, and not knowing what else to do. They're at their wits' end, and hearing your story is going to impact so many people. I mean, it's so imperative that they get this kind of information, so that to let them know that there is a solution that can get to the root cause, and the solution that can make the problem literally go away, not just manage or learn to live with it, and
Right.
more to the sense of literally living without it. And so I'm just really amazed by your story and your sons. I mean, your kids are learning from you now, so that when they become adults, they will just continue that, because it's becoming a part of their lives now.
Yeah.
It won't be something foreign to them, like, versus just going and get something from the fast food place or whatever. Now they have this knowledge and experience, and they're seeing that difference, the before and after. And then there's, oh, okay, mom's right. She's not making this stuff up,
Yeah.
so that just, oh, that's music to my ears.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the younger we start, the better. So, well, if anybody has any questions or anything, like Vanessa said, you can post in the chat or feel free to message either one of us. I'm happy to answer more questions. I work with people every day who have different health issues, and I'm happy to help with a tailored plan to get you on the right track if that's something that you need. And working with Vanessa, I mean, we're that's what we're here for. So just reach out.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, Linda. Thank you again for
Yeah.
somehow we managed to find the right perfect time to meet in our
Yeah,
park.
I got out of a meeting a little bit earlier today than I thought I would, so that it worked out great.
I'm so glad it worked out too. Thank you again. It was so great having you here, and I look forward to talking to you more.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
You too.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, everyone.